So Davila got a mistrial, and the juror that was on the case that wrote me a couple of emails was mystified at how the other jurors could not convict Davila of first-degree murder, would only settle for second degree. Maybe the defense attorney muddied the waters, and the court didn't explain the difference between first-degree and second-degree murder. So I had to go look it up. Let's take a look. So to find out what the Florida laws are on murder and the difference between first-degree, second-degree, and third-degree murder, I Googled Florida laws, and I found this webpage. I then went to laws and statutes. Statutes are how the laws are structured. And they're organized by these titles. That's what the statutes are. And so let's go down to Title 46 is crimes. And then let's go to Chapter 782 because it's homicide. And then specifically 782.04, which is murder. That's the unlawful killing of a human being. And it's right there. And it goes through first degree, second degree, and third degree. Let's take a closer look at it, all right? Maybe it'll shed some light on the misunderstanding of it all. All right, here's the whole Florida law, and there it is. That's it right there. But I want to separate them by color, and I can't do it. All I got to do is this. And so I'm going to have to download it in PDF, and we'll go from there. So let's go to print, and we'll save it. So I can save it like that. So I'll be back after I've downloaded it and saved it. Highlighted in green is everything that pertains to first-degree murder. See it right there is murder in the first degree. Highlighted in pink, if we scroll down, we see right here, it says murder in the second degree right there. Highlighted in yellow, we go down a little bit and it says right there is murder in the third degree. And so highlighted in blue, these are just referencing terms that are used. This is a substantial factor, and this one says terrorism. Highlighted in green is the first degree murder. I'm going to go ahead and erase everything, and we'll highlight the important stuff. Number one, as we know everything above, is murder in the first degree. So let's read this as the law is written. Number one, this is a precursor for the terms of what it is. It says it's the unlawful killing of a human being when perpetrated from a premeditated design to effect the death of the person killed or any human being is murder in the first degree. And so that is one condition. The second condition is the unlawful killing of a human being when committed by a person engaged in the perpetration or in the attempt to perpetrate any, and as in the case of Matthew Nicole, is home invasion robbery. Section M is murder in the first degree. I see plenty of defense attorneys not including this section 2 of Florida's law. Anybody that premeditates a murder and gets caught is first degree murder. So when you commit number 1 or number 2, including home invasion robbery, it is murder in the first degree. Let's take a look at second degree murder. What's the difference between that and first degree murder? All right, highlighted in pink is everything related to second degree murder. We'll go ahead and erase the highlighting. We'll break it down. So there was actually 2 sections to it. We'll go highlight it. There's section 2 and there's section 3. Section 2 pretty much is the unlawful killing of a human being when perpetrated by any act imminently dangerous to another, evincing a depraved mind without premeditation. So anyway, so you're out of your mind, something made you mad. Oh, I did find out too that evincing a depraved mind, one guy gave an example, an attorney, and he said it was a man comes home from work, finds his wife in bed with another man, runs to his dresser, pulls out a gun and shoots and kills both of them. That's a depraved mind. It's kind of, you're out of your skull. Any reasonable person would be outraged and they couldn't control themselves. And so that's section 2. Section 3 is when a human being is killed during the perpetration or attempt to perpetrate any, section M, home invasion robbery. But here's the key to it. By a person other than the person engaged in the perpetration or attempt to perpetrate the felony. So that would be like in the case of Matthew Nicole, the guy that sold them the firearm. Tyler Graffing faced it. Anybody that knew about it, like David Foreman-Taylor's girlfriend, anybody that knew about they were practicing for a stick-up and didn't say anything, they could face second-degree murder charges. David Foreman-Taylor got second-degree murder charges only because he cooperated with prosecutors so much. The same thing with Tyler Graffing. The rest of them are all clearly facing murder 1 charges. Let's go take a look at murder 3 and see how that applies. Here's Florida's third-degree murder law that's on the books. It's highlighted in yellow. I'm going to erase everything. It looks similar to murder 2 and murder 1, but there's a bit of difference to it, and it's pretty simple to understand. It's the unlawful killing of a human being when perpetrated without a design to effect death. In other words, it's a charge that nobody planned to murder anybody. It's kind of like manslaughter, but it's also by a person engaged in the perpetration or the attempt to perpetrate any felony other than any of these that are listed. So the key takeaway is any felony other than any of these. And so other than that, that's if you accidentally kill somebody, and it's not one of these felonies, that's murder 3. So to recap, the differences between first, second, and third degree murder are as follows. First degree murder is you have to have a premeditated plan to do it. You make a plan to do it, and then you pull it out. That's condition 1. Yep, that right there is murder in the first degree. Or when you commit or try to commit any of these felonies, which home invasion, robbery is one of them. Okay, is murder in the first degree, you get sentenced to life in prison or death. Now, second degree murder is the unlawful killing of a human being when there is no plan, but you have this depraved mind. And what is a depraved mind? Well, the attorney gave me the example of a man comes home from work and finds his wife in bed with another man, and he loses his shit and frickin' shoots and kills both of them, or one of them, whatever. That is second degree murder. And you can be sentenced to years not to exceed life. But there's also another condition for that, and that is when a human being is killed during the perpetration or the attempt to perpetrate any of these felonies, which includes home invasion robbery like Matthew Nicole. But there's a line here that follows that up. By a person other than the person engaged in the perpetration or in the attempt to perpetrate such felony. That means any one of these felonies right there that was not there to do it, means not present, it's not one of the 5, is second degree murder. That could be David Foreman-Taylor's girlfriend, the guy that gave him the guns or they bought the guns. Anybody that knew about it, that's second degree murder. Third degree murder is unlawful killing by a human being when perpetrated without any plan. In other words, you didn't plan for it, somebody died. And it has to be, notice the felonies are the same, similar? Well, it says any felonies other than the same ones is third degree murder. So I hope that clears up what first degree murder, second degree murder, and third degree murder is. Mark Germain, Anthony Davila's defense attorney, pushed for second degree murder and using the depraved mind status, claiming he was pressured by his friends. To me, this could have been averted by, finding out phone records. Did Davila call somebody first, or did they call Davila? If Davila called first, he damn sure wasn't in any depraved mind status. So Anthony Davila's jurors, some of them thought that he should have got a different charge from anybody else. It should be second degree murder as opposed to first degree murder. Well, let's see what constitutes first degree murder. And now we're going to go and look at, he's an accomplice to all of these guys because they did break in and they did kill Matthew's dog and then they did murder Matthew. And so, first degree murder, this pretty much just tells you right here. And it says that, anything that if you do any of these, like a premeditated kill, if you plan to kill somebody and the cops find out that you drew out a plan to kill somebody, that's first degree murder. But now, state of Florida also says felony murders. And what's a felony murder? Felony murder, which leads to first degree murder charge when the defendant commits homicide while during the commission of a specified felony. And down here it says these felonies include burglary and home invasion, And so, that's first degree murder, not second degree. If a murder happens during one of these felony charge of home invasion robbery, that's first degree murder. And then notice this: while the prosecutor must prove the defendant intended to participate in the underlying felony, the state can proceed with the charge even if the defendant did not personally perform the killing. So that's what would lead this to believe that Davila could be charged with first degree murder. But this is just a blog, and this is not an attorney or anything. So what I did is I'm going to go to a defense attorney, and let's see what he says. So there we go. And so it says, what is a principal? Is an accomplice, is defined by it in Florida law. And this is the statute 771011. And then right here, defendant has a conscious intent to the criminal act. They all went in, they all planned this for months. Don't give any bullshit about it. He was under duress or anything. Nope, he was not. And the defendant did some act. They all went there. And a person does not have to be present at the scene of the crime to be charged and convicted as a principal. Principal is a theory is a way for the government to hold minor participants fully responsible for the action of a partnership or a group that participates in criminal activity. As such, understanding how the law works can make a difference here. Here are some examples of people facing serious charges because of the rule of principles. And here's one: the lookout, the getaway driver, the bait, the bank roller, the devious look. I don't know what that is. Somebody films themselves doing or destroying stuff. Well, they're guilty of that too. And what are the consequences of being a principal? A principal is charged the same way any other criminal defendant. Principals are often, but not always, charged as co-defendants. The state does not have to, although they may allege specific statute to trigger the rule of principles. A jury will be instructed at trial in a case pursued on a principal theory that a principal must be treated as if he or she had done all the things other than the person or persons did. A principal who is not the main actor in a criminal trial will not be given a break like a lower maximum sentence or reduction in level of offenses for scoring purposes at sentencing. So he definitely is a principal. And here's what happens with the accomplice. And I find this exactly blunt and to the point. If crime is considered as team sport, the state of Florida is more than happy to hand out participation trophies, even to cheerleaders and equipment managers. Being charged as principal can apply to almost any crime under the right circumstances. Well, there you go. But let's go and take a look at chapter, what was that? 777.011. Now this is just a defense attorney's opinion. Let's go look at the law. And here you go. Section 777.011. Principal in first degree. Whoever commits any criminal offense against the state, whether felony, misdemeanor, or aids, abets, counsels, hires, or otherwise procures such offenses to be committed, and such offense is committed or is attempted to be committed, is the principal in the first degree and may be charged, convicted, and punished as such, whether he or she is not actually constructive present at the commission of such offenses. So there, that is the law. This is what needs to be read and explained with a visual display to any prospective juror that goes for Matthew Nicole's murder trial. I can't say this strong enough, is that you have to build this case for jurors. I mean, all this information has to be applied to the jurors before they go in that deliberation room. It should be in the opening, and it all should be part of the case, and also brought up in the closing to really hit home to make sure they all get convicted of first-degree murder. So Davila thinks his mistrial, and his defense attorney thinks his mistrial is a victory. Ha! What a joke. It's not going to do him any good, and I can prove it. He's going to go to prison for the rest of his life. Well, let's go down to crimes. Section 775, which is penalties, and 775.082 pertains to reoffenders previously released from prison. Let's see what defines somebody as a prison release reoffender. Prison, and here it says a prison release reoffender means any defendant who commits home invasion robbery, section F. And here it is, within 3 years after being released from a state correctional facility, for which the sentence is punishable by more than 1 year in the state. Well, do you remember that Anthony Davila was charged with armed burglary, and where they beat some guy up and they robbed him down in the Keys, and they put him on probation? Well, on probation, he moved to coca, and he got in trouble, and he had guns, and he had drugs, and he was given 2 years in prison. 2 years in prison is past, it's 2, and it's more than 1 year. So he's given more than 1. But when did he get out? Because it's got to be 3 years after that. So let's see. Davila got out June 16th, 1919. 3 years after that would be 2020, 2021, 2022. When was Matthew Nicole murdered? Matthew Nicole was killed on March 3rd. This is the day after, March 3rd, 2021. That's not even 2 years later. So, Anthony Davila is going to prison for the rest of his life. And specifically, this is what the law says too. If the state determines that the defendant is a prison release reoffender as defined in paragraph 1, the state attorney may seek to have the court sentence the defendant as a prison release reoffender. Upon proof from the state that such defendant is not eligible for sentencing under the sentence guideline and must be sentenced as follows. For a felony punishable by life means well, you'll be punished by a term of imprisonment for life. So, first degree, second degree, it doesn't matter. A first degree felony that's punishable by life, that's first degree felony might be something like arson or armed burglary or aircraft piracy. But it looks to the most. Could he be sentenced for life, even for second degree murder? Yes. And it says by a term of imprisonment for life. But then notice this section down here. Section B. A person sentenced under paragraph A, you can read all this, shall be released only by expiration of a sentence and shall not be eligible for parole, control release, or any form of early release. Any person sentenced under paragraph A must serve 100% of the court-imposed sentence. Remember that term for life? Must serve 100%. That's no parole. Anthony Davila will never get out of prison. Sucks to be him, that fucking piece of shit. If you've been watching this long, you're in my boat. We hope that his ass gets frickin' buried in the retrial. Thanks for watching.